Imagine being locked inside a Walmart, alone in the dead of night. The silence suffocates you, the shadows creep closer, and then you see her. A figure so terrifying, you can't tell if she's real or something far worse. What happens next will haunt you forever. Dare to watch the full story.
A seemingly ordinary trip to Walmart took a terrifying turn that I could never have anticipated. It was late at night, and I was making a few last-minute purchases. As I meandered through the aisles, I found myself in the farthest corner of the store, surrounded by towering shelves filled with canned goods and cleaning supplies. The overhead announcement system crackled to life, signaling the impending store closure. At first, I paid little attention, but then I noticed the lights gradually dimming. A wave of panic washed over me as I realized that the employees had no idea I was still inside. They finished their duties, locked up, and left, leaving me ensnared in the unsettling silence of the vast, empty store. A deep fear engulfed me as I sank down to the floor, my back pressed against the cold metal of a nearby shelf. The aisles stretched out like endless corridors in every direction, each one growing darker and more menacing than the last. For a while, I just sat there, huddled in the corner, tears streaming down my face. The occasional creak and groan of the building settling did little to comfort me. It only added to the growing sense of dread. After what felt like hours, I knew I couldn't just sit there all night. I had to move, had to do something to shake off the unease that gnawed at my sanity. I decided to explore the store, hoping to find a phone or some way to signal for help. As I wandered through the aisles, the dim lighting cast long, sinister shadows on the walls. Every little sound echoed ominously, making me jump at the slightest noise. I turned a corner and found myself in the toy section, the sight of the cheerful, colorful toys somehow making the atmosphere even more unsettling. That's when I saw her. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, a trick of the poor lighting. But as I stepped closer, my heart pounded in my chest, and my blood ran cold. There, standing at the end of the aisle, was a figure. A woman, her eyes hollow and empty, her skin pale and almost translucent under the flickering fluorescent lights. She was dressed in an old-fashioned gown, the fabric tattered and dirty. Her hair hung in long, matted strands around her face. She stood motionless, staring directly at me with those empty, soulless eyes. I froze, unable to move or even scream. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Was it a prank? A mannequin? But no, she was real. Too real. Then she moved. It was a slow, deliberate motion, almost as if she was gliding rather than walking. She raised one hand, pointing a long, bony finger directly at me. Her mouth opened, and though no sound came out, I could feel her scream piercing through my very soul. I stumbled backward, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I turned and ran, not caring where I was going, just needing to get away from her. The store seemed to warp and twist around me, the aisles stretching out endlessly as if trying to trap me in a maze of terror. I found myself in the electronics section, the blue glow of the TV screens casting eerie shadows on the walls. I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting to see the ghostly woman right behind me. But she was gone. The aisle was empty. I tried to calm down, to convince myself that I was just seeing things. But deep down, I knew it was real. I wasn't alone in the store. She was here and she was watching me. The rest of the night was a blur of fear and paranoia. Every shadow, every flicker of light seemed to hide her presence. I could feel her eyes on me, hear the faint whisper of her voice in the stillness. I don't know how I survived until morning. When the first rays of sunlight pierced through the windows, the store's automatic lights flickered back to life. The employees arrived and the normalcy of the day returned. I stumbled out of the store, my mind spinning with a whirlwind of terror and disbelief. No one believed my story. They dismissed it as a product of a vivid imagination or a bout of severe anxiety. Even now, days later, I am unable to shake the haunting memory of those hollow eyes, burning with an otherworldly intensity that seems to pierce through the very essence of my being. Each time I close my eyes, I see her ethereal form flickering in the depths of my mind, her accusing gaze fixed on me with a profound sorrow that sends shivers racing down my spine.
If you enjoyed this terrifying tale, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories. Have you ever had a paranormal experience? Share your story in the comments below.